We have this false idea if something's worth doing, it's worth doing well, and that's just not true. If it's worth doing, it's better to do it poorly than not at all. That's even more true with prayer. Working out is the same way. If you're trying to build muscle strength, riding a bike, I keep messing up, so I'm just going to quit. Well, you're never going to learn. If a spiritual entity possesses an intellect and a will, then it is a person. We know that God is three triune persons. The angels, he created myriads of them according to the scriptures, are non-corporeal, so they don't have bodies, spiritual persons. They're not subject to the limitations of human body. There are no daily requirements in order to keep themselves functioning. They simply persist in being. This is how God made them. Because they don't have bodies and brains through which, for us as humans, our intellects must function and work, their intellects are far superior to ours, so are their wills.
So they act simply by thinking about it. They also have eternal volition. So once they make a decision, then it's a permanent decision, which is why, unlike human beings, once an angel made a decision to rebel against God, that couldn't be changed. So they had an eternal decision that was made at that moment, and the rest of their history was determined at that point.
How does the devil mimic God's omnipotence or omniscience? Well, through the other fallen angels. They communicate. They don't need to send a text or an email or FaceTime each other. They talk, telepathically through their intellects. They can relay information very quickly.
As a human being, I have a human nature with a body and a soul, and I have certain responsibilities to care for this nature and to govern this nature and to use it well. And if I'm not using it well, one, that will hinder my interactions with God, who is here to help me and guide me and love me, and two, it'll make it easier for the demons to affect me. And so it's easy when situations like that arise, someone is not going to church every Sunday or holy day. They're not praying, and they're wondering why the devil seems to be influencing them or directing them so much. And I say, well, then you just need to start going to church and saying your prayers. The first thing and the most important thing to remember in the home is that, according to the scriptures and our belief as Christians, the father is the head of the household. And that means he has more spiritual authority in the home than anyone, even his wife, although they share much of it. So he needs to take an assertive and direct role in regards to this.
The demonic, like the fallen angels, who are they going to come to? Right? They're very legalistic. They're not going to start out, if they're going to attack a family or even, try to attack the marriage at first. How's it going to happen? Through the father, through the husband, because he is the central figure. He's the head of the household. So I've got to be on guard. If I'm not praying, if I'm not doing my duty as a father, then I am opening up my family to a potential attack.
The priest uses the old rite of blessing on candles and on bells. Those can also be used in spiritual protection. If the candle has been blessed by the old rite of blessing and you light the candle, anywhere that the light shines, demons must flee. And with a blessed bell, if you ring the bell, as far as the sound travels, the demons must flee. And again, these are tools we've used in the past and we can still use today, but most people don't know about them and don't put them into practice. Again, small little things. That's why Catholics have had a great tradition, even at home, of lighting a candle when you pray as a family. It was always a blessed candle. Incense, a great thing. We use it at church, but blessed incense, wherever the smoke travels and the smell permeates, again, the demons must flee if it's been properly blessed. So we have all of these wonderful sacramentals that we don't use as much as we used to.
Light is a symbol of divine, or the good, the intellect. So it's the light of Christ, right? And this is representative of what I should be and what we all need to be, right? Going out and being that light in the darkness, right? Because then we can, obviously see there's a clarity to it, not just physically, but even mentally. If we're living a life that we're meant to, which is seeking Christ, and with that foundation of Christ, then hopefully we can reflect that image of Christ, which we should be doing.
We're called to lead a sacramental life, to rebuke the powers of evil, and realize that we have nothing to fear as long as we maintain our relationship with Jesus Christ and we strive each day to be holy. We need to be conscious of the fact that our task is to get to heaven, and because of the reality of the fallen angels, the demons, They want to destroy that and interfere with that. So in order to protect ourselves, we need to be conscious of it and fight on a daily basis. St. Paul talks about running the race and fighting the good fight, that we're always in a battle. And it's not a battle with swords and guns, it's a battle with principalities and powers.
When you're trying to teach a child to ride a bike and they keep falling, and what do you tell them? Keep trying, persevere, right? You're going to get it eventually. Now, they want to give up because they're a child and they don't understand how difficult this is. But once they persevere and learn to ride the bike, they're very happy, aren't they? Now, all they wanted to do was learn to ride the bike, correct? And because they persevered, because they made the sacrifice of, even though they fell, they got up and tried again. That's a sacrifice. That's a price that it costs to learn to ride a bike. They now got what they wanted. They can now ride a bike. But what's interesting to note is riding a bike is not nearly as valuable as the virtue of perseverance. So the act of persevering was a far greater benefit to them in the rest of their life than learning to ride a bike. That's true in every aspect of the spiritual life. So when I have to do a sacrifice to overcome a particular, problem in my life or demonic influence, or just to obtain a grace, for you or for myself, the act of doing the sacrifice actually benefits me more than the grace that you or I receive because of it. Because it helps me grow in virtue, in humility, in chastity, in poverty, in obedience, in all of the great virtues, in love of neighbor. That's the beauty of God's design and plan. We think, why do I have to pay a price? Why can't God just give it to me? Because the price is integral to me as a person and to perfecting my human nature and making me more like God. You see the beauty of how God has constructed the spiritual life. That everything, if it's done right, benefits us, and nothing harms us, and nothing is too burdensome, when you understand it at least. But like children, I keep falling, I don't want to ride the bike, I don't care anymore, right? We just give up because it's too hard, and we don't understand the real benefits that are awaiting us.